Okay.
How do you get Frank to sit on the chair?
How do I get Frank to sit on the chair? She does it by herself. She loves it. Okay, good evening. Oh, man, let me put down my stim toy over there. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone on Earth, and welcome back to our stream to everyone in general. The moons are out, the stars are glimmering, and it's time for our show. Tonight you'll be learning about some recent history, some recent Earth history, the Pokemon Go Wars of 2026 to 2030. This was a multimedia super modern warfare, the first of its kind, that occurred immediately after the ruling class, who we call the big guys, fled Earth 1. The bombs dropped, and everything went sideways. Survivors found that many of their devices were no longer connected, but the contents from their devices were real. And the section of society that have memorized 1,500 fake animal names suddenly became knowledgeable, toters of knowledge for a new and dangerous reality as Pokemon became real. Despite many veterans of these wars still walking among us with their tales to tell, many claim that this didn't occur at all. Welcome everyone to Lizarella Phones Home. This is our post-launch politics with humans. I am Lizarella, and we are joined again by our friend Cowboy Alfredo to discuss the Pokemon Go Wars. Cowboy Alfredo, welcome.
Thank you, Lizarella. I'm happy to be here to shed light on what happened in those dark days.
So, you were an early entrant. You were young at the time of the beginning of these wars, and you were quick to join on to a team. What team were you on, I guess, is our first question.
Yeah. I was on the blue team.
What is that?
Yeah.
Does it has another name, doesn't it? It has like a team. What was it like being on the blue team? What was the culture of the team members?
I would say that the culture was like fight to win and take no prisoners, hold no survivors.
Where were you exactly in I guess what was North America is what I recall, because you're from the South, Cowboy Alfredo.
Right. We were stationed in Georgia, and I was actually I started in the Army.
It's okay. No, it was. These are really tough. These were really tough times for everybody. And okay. How about this? You told me you left with a Pikachu heart on your way out of the Pokemon Go war. You were honorably. I guess that makes you honorably discharged,
Yeah.
which is a Pokemon. That is a Pokemon attack discharge. So, when were you injured? Under what circumstances were you injured?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, a little bit about me. Okay. A little bit about me is that I started off in the dish room of the base.
Oh shit.
I was a pot washer, and I saw the frontline trainers training every night outside on the battlefield or like whatever the training field. I kind of memorized all their moves. I watched them very closely.
All their Pokemon moves.
Yes, and just like how they handle, like, because the thing that they don't talk about when we talk about the Pokemon Go Wars is we don't talk about the nuance and like the actual work that goes into working with the Pokemon that you use to kill people. They are the weapons, but they're sentient weapons.
Yeah. So, there's a lot, yeah.
And it's like, some people got it, some people don't. I wasn't sure what I had. I was washing dishes in the back, in the mess hall. But after a while, I got enough confidence to kind of go out there and be like, hey, throw me one of those balls. See what I can do.
See what I can catch.
See what I can catch. And that's how, and then I kind of just got absorbed into the ranks because it was crazy. Like, they just needed bodies. They needed men fighting. So I was there.
Okay.
I didn't question it. And I didn't even have to fill out paperwork. I just took my...
They just started you.
Yeah, I took my Bulbasaur and I ran into the field. But yeah, I got the Pikachu heart from, it was like, a really crazy attack. At that point, we had somehow, infiltrated a Team Rocket base, and Team Rocket, they don't really have allegiance to anybody. So we were in the woods. We were looking for food. We were desperate for food. And we raided their camp to get food.
Oh my god. How many CP was that raid?
It was really high.
A lot.
There was a bunch of, it was worse than fighting Giovanni's Mewtwo. It was crazy. So we were fighting, and I got my testicles blown off by a Charizard.
What the fuck? With a fire? What was the attack by the Charizard? Do you know?
It was just a regular old flamethrower, but I was jumping in the air at the time. And he just hit me in my Pokeballs.
Yeah, okay. I mean, here's a follow-up question to that. Like, has the blue team veterans services taken good care of you after you've had your balls blown off by a because you got your purple heart. You got your Pikachu heart. That's terrible. Were they able to replace them?
They gave me they basically took, you ever squeeze one of those stress balls? Or those, it's kind of like a fidget.
Yeah.
It's like,
a stress ball.
Doughy. Yeah, it's like a stress ball, but it's a little doughier. So they took 2 of those, wrapped them in a freaking towel, and they stapled it to me, and they said, "Here you go, buddy."
That's fucking crazy.
That's how they treat the Pokemon Go war veterans here.
That's really twisted, Cowboy Alfredo. I must say that, it's important for us to raise awareness, especially, to the way that we treat our veterans after these traumatizing and horrific events. So you mentioned Team Rocket. Because, as we all know, the main belligerents in the Pokemon Go wars were blue, red, and yellow teams. But there was also, as you said, an additional element going on. Tell us about Team Rocket.
Right. I'd love to. I befriended a few of them in my day. Especially Team Leader Sierra. I remember Team Leader Sierra. She was a really nice lady. Very nice lady. Just caught up in the wrong crowd, if you will. And
well, she may have thought the same thing of you, Cowboy Alfredo.
She did. And then because I was always at risk of going rogue, but I stayed true to, they tried to knight me a couple times to be in Team Rocket, and they promised all these things. They promised we would get Mewtwo's. They promised that we would get fast TMs, unlimited fast TMs. They promised, that we would get, all kinds of different things. And in exchange for kind of they wanted us to go rogue and said, abandon the team, come to Team Rocket, we'll take care of you. And, I had mostly a carnal relationship with Team Leader Sierra, but there was some of
God, did you say carnal?
A carnal relationship.
Yeah, a carnal one. Yeah.
Team Leader Sierra, and my Pokemon had carnal relations with your Pokemon as well.
Okay, this is something that also came out of the Pokemon Go wars, which I think is interesting. Because as there started to be new Pokemon. I mean, there's always new Pokemon. They've been making new Pokemon forever. But instead of a bunch of people in a boardroom, clicking, being like, what's an animal name? What's on the desk? Here's a stapler. It's Staplermon, etc. Not to. But people began doing real life Pokemon breeding.
Right.
And
it started in Pokemon Silver too, when we had the eggs. We were incubating the eggs, cross breeding, and then they got into the genetic mutation, things like that, trying to make them stronger, different,
better, faster.
Better, trying to work them and make them
harder,
better, faster, stronger in preparation for this war. And so, I understand. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. The breeding was crazy. The relations between Pokemon, and they're sentient beings.
Yeah.
Sentient beings. They have choice. And they choose to be with each other. It's very beautiful to see two Pokemon in love.
Okay.
So, back to my original story of, my association with Team Rocket is that, I don't think Team Rocket is the bad guy. They try, in all the Pokemon propaganda, that we would get, I would get as a child.
That they would throw they would throw off of Pidgeotos on top of,
yes.
Yeah, on civilian population, just pamphlets of Poke propaganda. Continue.
Pamphlets of Poke propaganda against other members of other teams, but especially against Team Rocket as being a fringe, radical group that were touting these very extremely leftist beliefs. Extreme leftist beliefs. Me, I'm a moderate. I'm the centrist. I'm right in the middle there.
You're blue.
I'm blue. Exactly. I'm blue. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but I gotta protect my Bulbasaur when I need to, and so, so my relations with Team Rocket were, secret, they were furtive, they were quick. It was mostly to get information, and also to, just mostly to exchange information, battle tactics, things like that, and, trade stuff. I don't know, trade Pokemon with them. They were not bad guys.
Something I heard which can get us a bit into some of the Pokemon Go, the innovations by players throughout, players as they're known during the war. So Team Rocket was using some of potions as Molotov cocktails, as you recall.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk? Oh, you know something? I want to hear about your Pokemon. Let's start with that.
Pokemon?
I want to hear about the Pokemon you brought around with you on the war. Who did you meet? What Pokemon did you meet? Who did you catch?
Well, so who I brought with me? I brought my shiny Dragonite, which is very powerful. 3 stars. I could only bring 3 Pokemon with me.
Holy shit.
So I chose the best ones. I brought my Tyranitar, Tyranitar, shiny Dragonite, and I brought Ho-Oh, legendary Pokemon. People don't really know this about me, but, I've been catching Pokemon for the last 63 years. 63 years I have been out in the field.
You've been in the fucking grass. In the tall grasses.
I have been in the tall grasses. I have been fishing. I have been doing all that stuff.
Surfing. This is,
My lapper. And it's like, there's a lot of work that goes behind training. Like I was saying, I cannot stress that enough. But so, yeah, I went far and wide all over what was formerly known as the United States. I, went to North Dakota. I went to Idaho. I was stationed many places. Probably the coolest Pokemon I ever saw was a Lugia.
Who's Lugia?
Lugia is one of the original. Lugia is a legendary Pokemon. It looks like a big. Actually, I can't really compare it to anything because all I know is Pokemon. So I just will tell you that it's a Lugia.
Will you tell me which team had the Lugia? What circumstances did you see it?
I saw the Lugia trapped
in
a cage in enemy territory. And I couldn't really do anything to help it. So I just kind of looked at it and I was like, wow, that sucks. But it was the most beautiful damn bird I ever saw. Wow. That was the coolest Pokemon I saw. It was in red team territory.
Wow. Scenes from the Pokemon War, everyone. Yes.
Very sad. Very sad. But yeah, I hope that Lugia got released or something. May she rest wherever she is.
Oh, goodness. Do you still collect Pokemon?
That's a touchy one, Lizarella. That's a touchy one.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You were saying something about their nature and their but you also said you got to keep your Venusaur good, so I don't know if you live amongst them, similar to, say, who lived amongst them in the fucking original anime. You know what I mean. This is an old debate, sir.
Right.
About the life and the respect we need to give to the lives of Pokemon. And as I said in our introduction, Pokemon didn't exist prior to this war, according to modern science.
Right. Exactly. But it was the Christians touting those beliefs. I never believed a word of it. I knew they had existed. We have records. We have fossils. We have museums with all kinds of Pokemon artifacts. But, yes, I do live amongst them. I cannot disclose exactly where I live. I don't have a social security number or a trainer number. I don't have a trainer number.
Oh, shit.
I don't go to Pokestops. I don't go to, the Poke Hospital to get healed. I am completely off-grid. It's actually a wonder that I accepted this interview. Because after the Pokemon Wars, I retreated into life in the woods with the Pokemon.
How many Pokemon live on your? Do you have a large property? May I touch on that a bit?
It's not about who's living with me, what's living with me. It's about we are a team. We are living together on my property.
Yeah.
And it's not my property. It belongs to the earth.
Fact, yeah.
And it belongs to the Pokemon, really.
I really wanted to know here, let me phrase it this way. Who are the Pokemon in your life today who you want to talk about? Are there any Pokemon in your life throughout your life you want to talk about? Throughout the war you want to talk about more?
much more respectful reframing. Yeah, you know, I put those little fuckers to work.
Continue.
So I have my horses plowing the field. I have, you know,
Your ponyta?
My ponyta is kind of clearing the fields for new soil. You know, Mr. Mime doing woodworking and a little cooking in the kitchen. You know, I'm actually in a relationship.
With who?
With Gothita.
Gothita. Wow.
Yes, I'm in a relationship with a couple of Gothitas.
This channel is big titty positive, so that sounds wonderful. Gothita, a fan favorite. Okay, so you have like a compound with like a Pokemon working on it. You have like a...
Yes, I have saved them from the war and from themselves. And they have saved me from myself. You know, after the Pokemon Go Wars, we had to make do with what we had. We were devastated. We were lost, confused. My Pokeballs were blown off in that horrible accident. You know, I was just making up for lost time.
Yeah.
From being an arm of the blue team's violence. That's all I was, a pawn in their game. So.
I wrote down some facts from our pre-interview that I'll sort of pull up to help us out here. Give us some more. So here's something interesting. There's some early leader players. We could talk a bit about the history of the Pokemon Go War. The blue, yellow, and red teams, because of their sort of prior creation on the app itself, obviously gave people sort of an already existing way to navigate this new.
Right.
You know. So, but early on, you know, it was dangerous to play by yourself. People were starting to get into it. The Pokemon were dangerous. The powers were getting stronger and stronger. And quickly, the American South became blue team territory. The American North, as it has soon after all this, we'll get to what happens next. But this is 2026, folks. So, the remaining Northrop Graveler Corporation began manufacturing different sorts of Pokemon weapons, as you can see behind us, Pokemon tanks. There was some chemical warfare using smog. You want to tell us about that, sir?
Yes, the fumes, very noxious fumes from the smog, the coughing.
The gas fleas.
The coughings and the wheezings. Yes, and the gases. Coughings, wheezings, and gases. Used against their will for chemical warfare. I was on the field. I inhaled that stench. It smelled like some...
What does it smell like? It looks like it would smell delicious.
You think so? No, honey.
Like purple Fanta.
Like rotting eggs. Rotting dead eggs.
Holy shit.
Wet eggs outside to ferment. That is what that smelled like. It was horrible. It's not anything to joke about. And it felt like tear gas, you know, and it made you confused. Very confused. I could not direct my Pokemon, could not tell them what kind of attacks to do. It was devastating. And
I've seen pictures of the canisters that they were loading the Weezings up with, and those were pretty big. That was a lot of smog on these young men.
64 ounces of smog each. 64 ounces a Weezing could carry with it.
That's like a Pepsi.
Yeah, it is.
A big Pepsi.
Very dangerous Pepsi.
So, do you want to tell us about any of your friends on the blue team? Anyone? There were some famous Pokemon fighters out there. I can't come up. I'm trying to come up with a good pun. I've been trying to come up with a pun for the Red Baron all day. Oh, yeah.
There is one. My Wars. Tiny Pikachu was their name. Tiny Pikachu.
Tiny Pikachu?
A player like no other. Oh, Jesus. I'm getting so stupid.
Tiny Pikachu.
Yes, Tiny Pikachu was beside me during all of my hardest battles. And boy could she fight. Boy could she fight. What? Yeah. Exactly. Tiny Pikachu carried me. And we fought together, tooth and nail, against Red and Yellow. May she rest. We'll never forget her.
Oh my god. Tiny Pikachu is dead?
No.
Someone else is dead. She's retired. Okay, good. Did you lose anyone in the Pokemon War?
Of course. Of course I did.
Did you lose any Pokemon?
Wouldn't be a war without a sentenced death toll. That's what I always say. We lost Pokemon. We lost trainers. We lost that hot little Pokemon nurse.
Oh my god. Did Professor Oak survive? Who's the one in Go? Oak.
Professor Oak did not survive.
Yassified Professor Oak was a casualty of the Pokemon War. That sucks. What about Mateo?
Mateo survived. He's always been a survivor. He's new, you know. He's got some new skills that he learned when he was in officer school.
Mm-hmm.
At Fort
fucking Raichu. Fort. I've downloaded a list of Pokemon names.
Fort Cerulean City or whatever.
Yeah. It would be cool if, it would be really, I mean, I don't know if it would be cool, but it would be funny if they had just renamed places all over just Pokemon town names. Lavender City.
No, that would have been incredible. But, we're getting my Pokemon right now.
Yeah. Hello, Pokemon! We could decide that they did that. We could say, Philadelphia was Verulian City. Frick it. It would also be cool if the countries had just crashed together and it didn't even really... But... Okay. The Pokemon Go Wars. Cowboy Alfredo. I have a Pokemon here with me as well. How did Pokemon interact with living animals, like already existing animals?
I mean, there are no animals except Pokemon.
Whoa. So all the animals
All the animals were Pokemon.
And
they are themselves animals, just a little more powerful, and they know a little bit more. The animals were wiped out. The animals were wiped out. Pokemon took their place.
That's crazy. That's crazy!
So they were brought down from space.
Yeah.
They were brought down from space.
Space Pokemon.
But, Pokemon are much hardier than your average animal. That's why other animals are like this. The Pokemon were eating them and stuff like that.
Survival of the fittest, I guess.
It really was.
Alright, it looks like my Zoom meeting is gonna end.
Really?
Yeah, so should I restart it? Do you have more to say? Should we keep going?
I think we covered a lot.
We did.
Yeah, I feel feel good about that interview. I think that my experience was well represented.
That makes me happy, my friend. Thank you so much for being honest and for giving us everything you have. Thank you for your service, sir, as well. I want to be the very best. To catch them is my real test. To dream them is my cause. Okay. Yeah. Gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Lizarella.
Thank you, Cowboy Alfredo. Good night, my friend. Okay. Folks. The microphone in my face the whole time and you can't even see me. Ha 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 ha. Good evening, folks. Thank you for joining us for that interview. I'm terrible at monitoring my own camera. That was sick. There's Frank. Pokemon Go. Ugh. So, I want to be back on Wednesday. I may have some pre-filmed stuff. And this was pretty sick. So I just continue to stare with my blurry eyes at the image of myself. Frankie is really snoozing. I could like play a game or something if I'm still up streaming. Theoretically, Lizarella is supposed to stream until 10. But that was our Pokemon Go interview. Do we have any other Pokemon Go veterans in the chat? Want to share some tales? Tales and trilations? To dream is my home. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Meant to understand the power that's inside. I can catch you easy when you Here, check this out. You're my best friend. I wonder if I can play a game this way. Play a game. How's everyone doing tonight? Is anyone still watching? The backgrounds are from my Dolly credits. I did like some Pokemon tanks, some Pokemon. I don't know what that really was. We could play some Pokemon. Oh, you know what? I wanted to read out loud my Pokemon's names. If anyone would like to see. Well, I also had caught something before I closed the app. So as you can see, we are actually pretty committed Pokemon Go players. Okay. GPS signal not now. Pokemon. I have, here is, can you see it if I put it in front of Frank? That's a Wigglytuff. That's my Wigglytuff named Shirley Temple. That's my pilot's one named Snorty. This is my sunfisk named Feet Picks, who's in a gym. Needs some help. If you go to the gym, I think it's the Jerusalem Masonic Lodge, and I should not. No doxing myself. Here's Gorilla Santa. Here is Wheezy. That's baby. The there's Wheezy. There's Dory too. That's cool. The green screens out the gym button. Right. Creepy sitting on Frank Ward. Named after Frankie. Alanis. Turk Bangs. Gay Ass Bird. Last Unicorn. Brigitte. Old Yeller. Murder Gang. Everybody was kind of scary. That's a bi shark. Sometimes the bi shark. Here's Dr. Branches. Here's Good Cop. That's the last one I think. Good Cop. And also the first one I named. Okie dokie. Timothy McVeigh would have had a Weedle. Timothy McVeigh would have had this guy. Matang. Or whatever, something Rambo like. Oh, yeah. You can see my Megan was supposed to come on and also talk about the Pokemon Go Wars, but from Pennsylvania or whatever, but she's packing to move. So I guess additional things to think about from the Pokemon Go Wars. What role would Pokemon have in our daily lives? Interesting to think about if they replaced animals entirely. I thought this was cool. I mean, this is like, I put in like 19th century, 18th century painting or something. Oh. My mouth is dry. The other thing that I had here was Jesus Loves Pokemon. Was the other thing I wrote down. Alright. That's what I got. This was a really fun episode. Thank you so much to Jeff's Cowboy Alfredo. Thank you so much to Frankie the Tanky. Thank you so much to me. Liz as Lizarella. And I need like a credit roll. I need like a King's Hawaiian roll. Okay. Good night, Rose. Thank you. Pokey Frank, gotta Frank 'em all.